Good evening. This is Monday Agenda. The Monday Agenda today is delighted to talk to the recipient of a grant from the French Embassy of 1.7 billion Tanzanian shillings, going on to two major aspects. One, gender equality, but also the aspects of agroecology. And this is an extension of what the French Embassy in Tanzania has, of course, been doing for the past years. On the Monday Agenda today, we're going to speak to the representative of the French Embassy, but as well as the beneficiaries of the 1.7 billion grant. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the Monday Agenda. Next 45 minutes, we are going to focus on what has transpired, what is going on now, and what Tanzania should expect out of this grant. To begin, my very esteemed guest, very welcome to the Monday Agenda. We shall have a roundup of understanding, starting with Juliet. Your name, your role at the embassy, and then we'll just take turns.
So I'm Juliette Galou, the Civil Society Officer at Ubalosi Ufaransa. And I'm very pleased to work with four amazing organizations that we have been working with for a couple of years now. And I let them introduce themselves.
My name is Ikram Soraga. I'm the operations manager of the Practical Permaculture Institute in Zanzibar. And the Practical Permaculture Institute opened its doors officially in 2016. And what we do mostly is we're based in permaculture, which is derived from two words, permanent and agriculture. So it deals with organic agriculture, but it also deals in sustainability. So we cover a lot of environmental issues. But being founded by women, we're also very much in tune with gender issues and women empowerment, and we've conducted a lot of projects towards gender issues, youth empowerment, creating more sustainable and resilient communities, creating more sustainable and eco-friendly environment, and towards food sovereignty and towards food security.
My name is Janet Maro. I'm from Sustainable Agriculture Tanzania. We are a local non-governmental organization based in Morogoro, and I work as Chief Executive Officer responsible for programs in the organization. And for us as an organization, for the last decade, we've been working on organic farming in Tanzania. We have a network of over 20,000 farmers that we work with, out of which about 1,000 are certified organic, and they benefit with formal organic markets in Tanzania and also beyond. So we have this experience, which we believe we will be able to bring into this new project in Dodoma and Tabora, where we work with girls between the ages of 15 and 24. And for us, this is very important because this particular group of dropout girls and young mothers is often left out and forgotten, because we design projects looking at farmers or farming without specifically targeting these minority groups. So for us, this is of particular importance, and we are committed to work with our partners at Msichana, also the Foundation for Civil Society Trust, and the Practical Permaculture Institute of Zanzibar, with the support of the French Embassy, to be able to reach this group, to empower the girls socially, but also economically, to see opportunities, to tap these opportunities, and bring about a meaningful change in the livelihoods of these people. Thank you so much.
Excellent. We have 45 minutes of the Monday Agenda to learn more about the excellent work that you all do. Please.
My name is Rebecca Gyumi. I'm very pleased to be here. I'm the Executive Director at the Msichana Initiative Organization, part of this great coalition that is supported by the French Embassy. Msichana Initiative is a non-governmental organization that works to advance the rights of girls in Tanzania. We believe in creating a society where girls in Tanzania are able to realize their full potential. So in doing so, we have been working with girls in school and outside of school, creating spaces where girls can actually organize, mobilize, and find safe spaces for them to speak out about their issues. But in doing so also, we know girls are not living on an island, so we work closely with communities, because we know to be able to impact the girls, we need to work with the communities that many times shapes the norms, the culture and the traditions around how girls are treated in our communities. We also work with, in strengthening systems, especially the duty bearers, you know, people who are vested with the power to either protect or respond to the issues that girls are grappling with. So we are also very lucky that, you know, apart from the fact that we're part of the GAPE project, we are also part of the DEFI project, which is also a French embassy initiative that actually looked at how to strengthen mechanisms that works around gender-based violence in our communities. So I know later we'll be able to deep dive into the current project, but maybe just to say, with the work that we've been doing, we have been able to establish more than 64 clubs that works with girls in Tanzania. Our operations are in 6 regions in the country. And in doing so, we have been able to form alliances with the government, but also communities, so that they're able to challenge the gender norms that so many times have been at the disadvantage of women and girls. So that is what we'll also be bringing in this project, to put nuance of gender equality, the gender norms, and really shape the project in a manner that girls are not just economically empowered, but you know, they are actively engaged in understanding and knowing their rights and standing up and speaking up for their rights in their communities.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That is Msichana Initiative. Yes.
Thank you. I'm Martha Olotu, the Chief Executive Officer of Foundation for Civil Society Trust. So we are actually a subsidiary company for Foundation for Civil Society. So our experience in managing or working with the civil society organization is tracked back to 18 years ago. So what we are bringing to the project is our experience on grants management, capacity building of the civil society sector, but coordination between the civil society sector and different actors. So we have been working with quite a number of organizations in terms of the main organization as the Foundation for Civil Society for more than 18 years, and we've managed a portfolio of more than 5,000 civil society organizations. So you can see that we have a vast experience of working with the civil society organization, working with the government, and working with the private sector.
Excellent. Maybe, Juliet, to begin with you. This is a continuation, so to understand. Why gender and why agroecology or ecological agriculture?
Excellent question. So we have been implementing a project, funding a project, 2 years project together with SAT already, and another organization called SWISED on agroecology. So we have been working on agroecology in Tanzania for 2 years already. And the evaluation of this project have shown that women are 80% of the labor force of smallholder farmers. So women are the actually labor force, but they don't have access to land, they don't have access to revenue. So we saw also on this project that women were very good at economic empowerment, that they were doing groups and they were getting together and they were really empowering themselves. So this was first the evaluation of the previous project. We saw that women need to get support. And then agroecology is a topic that we have been working on for years. And this is a long-term vision. We want to first support the civil society organization scaling up this movement in Tanzania, but also the government to add the agroecology in its strategy, agriculture strategy. So the aim is to have a long-term vision of what we are supporting here in Tanzania. And also, we have 2 priorities on the international agenda for France, which are climate change, so the fight against climate change. And these include agroecology, of course. And we have a feminist diplomacy, so it's gender and agroecology, which fits perfectly in Tanzania. So this is why we are very happy and delighted to support this new project for 2 years.
We're going to get back onto the aspects of, global climatic changes later during the program. But Janet, SAT, which has been doing and is still doing tremendous work in Tanzania. This now is per se your second phase of this project. Can you tell us what are some of the challenges that you encountered during the implementation of the first phase? And how are those challenges were met, and how are you going to see now the scaling up of the second phase?
Indeed, the first phase that was supported by the French Embassy was implemented in Mtwara region with Swiss aid. And based on my little experience, I know that was it was a program. So the French Embassy supported the Swiss aid program in Tanzania. And as I said, a program which does not particularly focus on, say, girls or women empowerment it can benefit anybody. So for this project that we are launching today, this focuses specifically for young women, and so young women who are drop-offs from school, and young mothers, or people who are at risk or have been who have experienced gender-based violence at a young age. So it's the age group between 15 and 24. So this is very specific compared to the program that SwissAid has been implementing in Mtwara region and was supported by the French Embassy. And also that program did not have a particular focus on issues of gender and empowerment. So it was a program on agroecology, and it had aspects of research as well as the outreach or training for farmers. So this one will particularly focus on issues of gender, understanding gender norms, also social aspects, and agroecology. So it's a combination whereby before you start working on the economic empowerment of a person, you work with this person to understand them, to help the person understand themselves, see their worth and value, set goals and targets, and find a purpose for their life, and then go into this economic empowerment.
So what reach are we looking at in terms of how many regions? What's your scope?
So for this particular project, the scope is 3 regions. So it's in Tanzania mainland, it's 2 regions. It's Dodoma region, Kongwa district, and Tabora region, Nzega district. And then, of course, there is Zanzibar. I don't know how, is Zanzibar a region? No, Zanzibar is a country. Zanzibar is a country. But for Zanzibar, it's the whole country, because there'll be representation from the whole country in Zanzibar. So, yes, apologies for my...
Yes, please, an apology, I believe acceptable. We'll get to Zanzibar shortly after, just understanding, deep diving a little bit on Msichana Initiative. Yes. How old is Msichana Initiative?
Msichana Initiative was founded in 2016. So we have just hit 5 years this year.
Excellent. Yeah. And looking on to the mandate, the vision that you have, what are you partly mentioned it on your introduction, but what is your ideal world for Msichana Initiative?
For Msichana Initiative or for this project?
For Msichana Initiative, and then we'll link the project and the Msichana Initiative in terms of this is what we want to see in the near future.
Sure. So for us, we envision a society where rights of girls are protected. I mean, girls' rights are protected, but also, you know, a community where girls are able to unleash their full potential. So in terms of vision, that is sort of like an ideal society that we work to achieve or advance, you know. Always advocate for, you know, protection, advancement, and, you know, response of issues which girls are facing in our community. But the overall goal being a society where rights of girls are protected and girls unleash their fullest potential.
And how will this initiative then help you achieve that?
So in these communities that we are going to work with, first, as I said earlier, we had already worked with the communities and focusing on, you know, how we are going to respond on issues of gender-based violence. And in so doing, we realized that, you know, apart from the fact that girls were facing multiple challenges, including dropping out from school because of challenges like teen pregnancies, you know, being married young, you know, like child marriages, and other issues, you know, like poverty that is very sort of like deep-rooted within our communities. We also realized the fact that they were not economically resilient, you know, it was also making it hard for them to speak out when it comes to issues of violence. Let's say today, if a father decides, you know, I'm going to marry you off, and then you find yourself in an environment where you are a child bride, or where you find yourself you are a young mother. It's so difficult for you to provide for your babies, but at the same time, it's so difficult for you to even stand up and say, I'm not going to, I'm defying, the acts or the norms of marrying me young because I believe I can be independent. And economic resilience was one of the biggest challenges. So with this project, we believe we'll be able to impact the 1,000 young women that we are going to work with, meaning 500 in Kongwa and 500 in Zega, to not just be able to understand that, for instance, being survivors of violence first is not the end of your life, providing them with psychosocial support, but at the same time, through our partners, because that's something that we should also, I think, say it again, we are going to implement this together. So the same groups that we are going to work with around, understanding gender norms, knowing their rights and standing up for their rights, are the same groups that SAT are going to work with, when it comes to the economic empowerment. So we believe with the economic empowerment initiative and them understanding how it's important to be independent, they will be able to stand up and be, responsible citizens, but at the same time change these norms, that for so many times have been pulling them back.
We are going again to sort of like understand more, and especially you did mention earlier that you also work with the public sector. How the local government involved in your initiatives, but that will be on my next question. Maybe to go to Zanzibar now before we look onto the the Foundation for Civil Society Trust. PPIZ. You did mention it's, again, it was found in 2016, so about 5 years now. How has PPIZ been working to empower currently women and youth in Zanzibar? And if you can give me the numbers, and as in so far we've reached so many women, so far we've reached so many young people. I am one of the beneficiaries as well. I brought a team of journalists and we had a fantastic training there. But in terms of now, if you've put the numbers together so that our viewers can even learn more.
At the Practical Permaculture Institute, although we're quite young, but we've had quite a few projects on the island on impacting these things. We've had a project called Fursa Kijani with Milele Foundation, one of our partners there. And with the project was conducted where we had youth, young women and men for that particular project, both from Unguja Island and from Pemba Island, that have come there, and we did a PDC, a permaculture design course with them. And so they got the training in agroecology and about sustainability, and the beneficiaries of the project, some of them that did very well, also got direct employment just after finishing that. They had an internship at Fumba Town. There's a little township there that was designed using permaculture. So permaculture is not just about farming, but it can also be used to create resilient cities and design. So there's an urban city that is designed in a way that it is sustainable and it takes care of its environment and it takes care of itself in such a way. So we've had people directly benefit just after finishing that project. They got employment straight away. And in terms of numbers, we've trained over 2,000 young women and men from the island, and even few from the mainland. We've had some people come for trainings even from the mainland and from outside of the country as well.
And this grant that we've just received, kindly given by the French Embassy, how is this going to impact the young people and women in Zanzibar through PPIZ?
Once again, we're very grateful, first of all, to the French Embassy for the opportunity. I'm very grateful to all our partners in helping us, because even though we're in Zanzibar, we're working together with FCS and with Msichana Initiative and with SAT in preparing everything and in conducting of the project. But again, many thanks to the French Embassy, almost half of the beneficiaries, the direct beneficiaries of the projects, are going to be from Zanzibar. So as I think Rebecca mentioned, they're going to have 1,000 beneficiaries from the mainland, and the other 1,000, but we have like 820 are going to be from Zanzibar, direct beneficiaries of the project. Not even talking about the multiplier effect and how many people will be impacted after the implementation of the project, but just having that number for Zanzibar in itself is quite huge. And the project is going to be conducted in all the regions of Zanzibar. Zanzibar has regions. So the project will be conducted in all 5 regions of Zanzibar. So we're really looking forward to the impact that it's going to have in our community and creating resilient communities. I personally believe that in order for us to move forward, we have to have powerful communities and we have to have resilient communities.
Excellent. We're going to look onto the plans in terms of how are you intending to reach such numbers, and this is across all my participants, but maybe Martha on your side is the Foundation for Civil Society Trust. How are you, maybe to open this curtain of question, how are you working, especially with the public sector? As a trust, you mentioned that you work with over 6,000 or 6,000 groups?
5,000 civil society organizations over the past 18 years.
Over the past 18 years,
Yes.
5,000. So, excuse me, just to understand, how does the trust work and how will this grant help you reach out to more or to the targeted audience?
Okay, so how we work, we'll get applications from the organizations, or we'll be approached with partner organization, or we'll have ongoing partnership with different organizations or embassies, such as the French embassy, who have identified the partners they would want to work with.
Okay.
So our role will be to have direct communication with the partners, preparing documents in terms of budgets, monitoring plans, activities, to ensure that everything is in place. But again, to also look into their human resource, people that will be managing the project, like the project officers, the finance people are key. Crucial people are the finance people, but again, the monitoring evaluation team.
Okay.
So our role will be working directly with the project team to ensure that we implement together the project in order to achieve the expected outcomes of the project.
So you will be like the project, sort of like monitors or coordinator.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So these for both the mainland and in Zanzibar.
Yes.
Oh, excellent. Juliet, it has been a global concern, the aspect of global climatic changes and all this. And 1.7 billion shillings that we've received today through these projects and more, because they're also representing a lot of other beneficiaries. What is it that is expected by the embassy that, you know, this is it a 2-year, 3-year project? 2-year project. So what is it that is expected on the aspect of gender? Well explained. We've captured very well the aspect of gender, but in terms of environment, in terms of sustainability, in terms of, you know, they've all spoken about resilience, but looking on specifically the aspect of environment.
We have the project himself, the implementation on the ground with the women, the girls, and we didn't say it, but 5% of the beneficiaries will be men. So we are not leaving. So we are. Yes, we are not leaving men aside. So we need to say that also. So on the climate change aspect, we are also doing advocacy. So you have project implementation and also advocacy. I don't know if we spoke about this a lot while presenting the project, but on both sides, gender equality and climate change, fight against climate change. We're doing advocacy to the ministry, to the government, because we see the numbers, we see the figure. For example, in Tanzania, if we don't change anything right now, we'll have 4 to 5 degrees additional to the actual temperature we have now in 2050. So it's like in 30 years, it's nothing. And if you add 3 to 4 degrees Celsius of the actual temperature, you won't have rainfalls, or you will have big rainfalls. So if you want to work on agriculture, if you want to work on nutrition, if you want to work on feeding the people, if you have changes like that, it will impact the agriculture. So, but Janet and Ikram, they know better than I do. They are really professional on this field. If you go to agroecology, which is the opposite of conventional agriculture, because conventional agriculture is also participating to all the climate change. So they can explain to you further because they are the professional on that. But this is why France is investing in this. We need to fight against the climate change if we want to survive in this planet, right? And Tanzania as well will be a victim of climate change. We are all on the same page for that, but he will explain later.
Yes, just so to understand, on the very same line, what are some of the activities that we envisage are going to be put in place in both the areas? Climate change, one aspect, and gender. You've sort of explained very well on the aspect of gender, but I'm keen on the 3-4% degree increment in our temperatures. It's terrible. So probably you can, in terms of the activities from the grant that you've received, and how are they tackling the aspects, or how are you envisaging them tackling the aspects of climate change? Maybe to start with Zanzibar.
To begin with, what Janet has said, it is a huge concern, but for us, we're kind of excited, and we're looking forward to tackling this issue.
How?
I'm coming towards that, Austin. Yeah. First of all, like Juliet has said, through advocacy, but particularly for this particular project, we've seen like how the world has gone into lockdown, Austin, and people are looking for food. You know, we live on an island, you know, and if we're shut out from the world, we have to be resilient ourselves. We have to be able to take care of ourselves. So one of the things that we're going to do through this training is to train these communities on how to best practices in farming, especially in organic farming, so that you take care of yourself, you take care of your health, but you're also taking care of the environment that it's coming from. So that will ensure resilience, that will ensure sustainability, that will ensure that you're not just doing this now, like she said, like in conventional farming, you know, once you've done, you're not taking care of the soil that's feeding you, you're not giving anything back to the soil, so it doesn't have that continuity. But we're going to give people more best practices on teaching them how you can take care of yourself, how you can take care of your health, but also take care of the environment at the same time, so that it's a mutual beneficial and it's a mutually there's that complete circle there, and it's not broken.
Just to understand, Ikram, how is the program then designed to do the follow-up after the training to make sure that yes, that the best practice that you know you've trained are actually being implemented post training?
So we'll have a baseline. We will conduct a baseline to see what is actually on the ground currently, and then we'll see after the 2 years, maybe we can come back with better answers on how much of an impact our project has had.
Okay, you probably want to do it on a midterm, maybe after a year.
Yeah, maybe after
2 years, now the fund has lapsed. There will be nothing else to do a follow-up on.
Maybe I can add there, because we co-create the project,
Sure,
so we pretty much have
because
like
I wanted to pick
yeah.
the brains from Janet. Maybe she'll wrap that up. Yes, please, go ahead.
Okay.
It's China Initiative.
Yeah, so from the outcome markers, we already have the logical framework of, you know, what is it that we are what is sort of like the desirable outcome that we want this project, you know, to feed into. But at the same time, establish interim evaluations, you know, but also end-line evaluation. So with the starting of the project, baseline, for instance, is just the beginning to establish the markers from the ground, and then we're going to have interim interim evaluations, which are going to be conducted individually through our M&E departments, where we are going to evaluate the project as they get implemented. So we are able to learn and, you know, maybe sometimes change accordingly, because sometimes as we implement, maybe some of the things that we are doing will not be able to give us the desirable outcome at the end. But we also envision at the end to have, you know, sort of like an independent end-line evaluation that will be able now to establish have we been able to, you know, achieve, you know, the desirable outcome, how much, you know, what were some of the challenges, and if at all there are some learning points on the in the process of implementation or at the end of project implementation.
Janet, maybe to understand from you, you've been on the field for a long time, and especially in the aspects of agroecology. My viewers will be very keen to understand. When you speak of, addressing climatic issues, climate change, everyone would go on to tree planting. Now, on the aspects of agroecology, what are other aspects that we should really look forward to probably seeing out of this project?
Well, thank you, Austin.
If there's tree planting, you can mention that as well. But
yes, thank you so
else?
much. I think Akram, but also Juliet have talked a bit, and I would like to pick up from the global picture on climate change. Indeed, it's a serious thing. It's a serious thing, and it's a global problem. We at SAT say, we all have a responsibility to take action, and this action should be taken now, because the destruction or destructive practices that are mostly to a large extent done by human beings on the environment and the negative impact this is creating with global warming, increasing temperatures, but also now we see excessive floods, excessive droughts, and this is a threat to the well-being and survival of human beings. We have to take action. I appreciate the French government in particular, and I'm not praising them because they're financing this project, but indeed the government of France has really taken an initiative. I'm sure you must have heard of the One Planet Summit by the French president, by President Macron. And with this initiative, you see more governments also starting to learn or to copy from this initiative. But also we see talks on climate change and climate financing. Actually, in the beginning of this year, there was a very big, the summit took place online, and there was very good talks on climate financing. I remember I saw the Prime Minister of the UK as well coming in talking on climate financing, and we saw many other big governments talking about this agenda. So we should see our governments talking, but that's one thing. We should see them taking action and really coming up with meaningful plans to curb this problem, because the action needs to be taken now. So how do we take the action? There are simple ways, and very simple. Imagine, like you mentioned, tree planting, Austin. That's one thing. For this particular project, tree planting is one thing, because we will practice agroforestry. So the project beneficiaries will have agroforestry systems in the fields, because they provide a lot of benefits. Apart from sequestering carbon, they also, some of these trees do biological nitrogen fixation. They provide useful biomass that we need for the soil. They provide useful biomass that we need to get extracts to control pests and diseases. But also some of these trees, when you integrate them in your farm, they keep away harmful pests and diseases. But we also know that simple and basic contribution of trees, they help to get the rainfall. So that's...
so we're going to see a lot of tree planting in
we'll
the
see
next
that.
2 years.
We'll see that, but also working on the soil, improving the water holding capacity of the soil, adding organic matter to the soil, and the aspect of not using environmentally destructive practices. So we will be doing more conservation, so making contours, terraces, so reducing erosion, and you will see these landscapes will really change as a result of this project, and we will have water having better capacity to hold water. Also, water having ways to pass. You know, in permaculture we have these swells, and they really do a very big contribution to the soil and the environment. And the benefits, really, we might not see benefits, for example, of the trees immediately, but we see the benefits out of experience from other locations, that trees really make a difference. You know, just walk out when it's not a rainy day, just walk out, stand in a place where there is no single tree. And compare to when you go out and there is a tree and you're standing under shade, and just get that feeling. So trees really do well, and we should promote more tree planting. And also at SAT, we have the Fair Carbon for Us initiative. It's a carbon offsetting initiative, and people can buy carbon credits. We sell carbon credits, so people can buy, and we plant trees, conserve the environment, and we have farmers who benefit with the money that people contribute for these trees.
I will get to understand more about this carbon credit because my viewers, I'm sure, are all like wondering what is this carbon credit. My dear viewers, this is the Monday Agenda, and the Monday Agenda today is talking with the beneficiaries of 1.7 billion Tanzanian shillings from the, generously granted by the French Embassy to look onto the aspects of climate, and as well as aspects of ecological agriculture. And wonderful people here. Now, let's discuss onto your individual organizations and how are you working with the public sector? Is the government giving you enough support towards, actualizing the vision that you have? Are there any hiccups? We are lucky, very blessed to have the current regime. They listen, they want, things to happen. Maybe to start with Msichana Initiative, then I've not forgotten about you, Martha. I'm going to come back to you, yes. Maybe Rebecca, how is the government supporting your initiatives?
Actually, government is probably the biggest of our partners in everything that we do because our operations are mainly in the community or communities of Tanzania. So before, let's say, we decide on, which young women specifically we are going to benefit, we will always have, like courtesy and, understanding with local government authorities. And actually, sometimes we start at the ministry level. So at the moment, for instance, we have a memorandum of understanding with Ministry of Health, Community Development, Gender, Elderly and Children on the specific mandate that we are contributing into. And that also gives us an opportunity whenever we have a project implementation or on the usual ongoing of our businesses, if we want to implement anything, we'll always start at the regional administration and then go into the district where, the local government authority leaders are present, discuss the areas that we want to support or the areas that we want to reach. And if we have a target community that we are aiming at impacting, we always have an understanding, or even sometimes they advise us, like maybe there's already enough resources or partners in these wards, you can contribute in these wards, because they know also the community sometimes better, than maybe some of us that sometimes our organization are also at the national level, but we reach in these regions. Mm-hmm. So what I can actually say is we have been receiving a very good support from the government. And government have been very supportive, not just in the initial phases, but even in the course of implementing the project. And even when we go to monitoring, they will always send in their officers as well to monitor, say the government will prepare its own report, on how this project has been impactful, and we also have our own reports.
Ikram, I understand that the new government in Zanzibar, the president has explicitly said that Zanzibar is going onto ecological agriculture, poison-free agriculture. How has that been, translated by the works you do?
Actually, we're super, super excited, and as you said, like you were referring to our president on his opening remarks at the House of Representatives, just after he was sworn in, when he was opening up the House, he mentioned that he wants Zanzibar to be organic and to try and target the organic market. Not only is it sustainable, but there's a huge market opportunity for it in the country and outside. So that was very exciting for us and very exciting for us people who have been fighting for the organic movement, that the president himself, so the political will in Zanzibar is there, and we have the backup. So we've met with the minister as well, and they've already started an organic department in the Ministry of Agriculture as well. But another thing that we're very excited about is also the state-owned university. They've also agreed to have courses in organic farming as well. So we've been working with the Ministry of Education in this stuff. We've been working with the Ministry of Agriculture. So a lot of things that most of our institutes that do in advocacy, they go unheard because they're not tangible. But there's been a lot of that advocacy work that goes about, and we've been getting great support from the government and from its respective ministries in terms of pushing the agenda, in terms of pushing the country more towards agriculture and more towards environmental friendly. But Zanzibar has always been like, could I say, like the trailblazer in this aspect. We've eliminated plastic bags way back even before. So we've always been going towards taking care of the environment, being more conscious about it. We're just more excited now that the political will is there and the people are willing to push it more further. So
excellent. You will be surprised that my 45 minutes have lapsed. Yes, and I still have a lot to ask, but I'm going to give each of us at least 1 minute to just give us a sort of like a wrap up from what we do, from the grant, and what should, Tanzania sort of like expect from our work. Martha, to start with you.
Okay, thank you very much. So for us as a Foundation for Civil Society Trust, we are excited to be implementing this project with the partners with support from the French Embassy. So we are really excited that this project will reach like more people, more women. We are expecting to see more small and medium-sized enterprises are opened. We are really expecting to see the economic situation of the victims of the gender-based violence is improved. So actually, we can't wait to start.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Martha, and good luck.
Thank you.
Rebecca.
Yeah, I think for me is really to say these are we're living in very interesting times, I think, even when you're talking about the regime. I think with the first female president and going into ventures that looks into how we are harnessing the leadership and the empowerment of young women in our country, I think it's very interesting times. So for all the 20 groups in Dodoma and 20 groups in Tabora that are going to be benefited with this project, what we can actually say, our commitment is to see that, the generous support of the French money is really going down to the people and reaching, the young women and impacting their lives. So that is our commitment into ensuring that we are really able to translate, the resources into the changed lives of these young women and men of our communities.
Thank you so much. Sat, Janet.
Thank you, Austin. Yes, I'm not far away from the rest, from our partners in this project. And indeed, we as Sustainable Agriculture Tanzania are committed and dedicated to this project. As I said, Tabora is a new region for us. We're looking forward to working in this environment, to be able to work with the people there to change, to make meaningful change, impactful change, and build resilient communities in this area. And with the collaboration and how the project is designed, we see big, significant potential impact. But if you're to have an interview with us in 2 years, I believe...
in 1 year and then at the end of the project. Yes,
so
I look
already
forward to that.
in 1 year, we will be in a stage where we can share already some of the changes that the community is experiencing. And I can assure you, it will be incredibly empowering for us as well to see this change. I often say, for me, people feel satisfied with many things, but my satisfaction comes with seeing that SAT was somewhere and we were able to bring meaningful change that is sustainable and that can sustain even beyond the support and collaboration of SAT. So this is what we are looking forward to do together with our partners in this new initiative. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Ikram, Zanzibar.
Thank you so much, Austin. First, I would like to thank the French Embassy for their support, but also our partners in the project, especially Dada Martha, for all the support that she's giving us and the role that she's playing towards this, towards making this project come to fruition. But as my colleagues have said, very excited for the future, for what the future has in store. But also, these are exciting times, as everybody else has said, and we're looking forward to showing what kind of impact this project will have. You know, we're living in troubling times right now. We're in the midst of a pandemic. So it's very, very important for us to find ways to be resilient as a country, as an island. You know, we're very thankful that we have leadership, both in the mainland and in Zanzibar, that are willing to listen. And I think for them, the issue of sustainability, the issue of being resilient is in their forefront. So we're excited to start the implementation of the project. We're excited to see what the future has in store. Yeah, thank you so much.
Nadia.
So I think that on the name of the French Embassy to Tanzania, first of all, Nina Shukuru Sana, to all our partners that are really professional, and we are very delighted to work with you. So on one hand, and also to work together with the government. And we are tightening up the link between France and Tanzania through agroecology, through gender equality. We're on the same agenda, and we're also working on scaling up this, but together, hand in hand with civil society organization and also the government. Both in Zanzibar, we are very glad to have Zanzibar, and we are very glad to have mainland. And Austin, we invite you in 1 year. Let's do the Monday agenda on the field.
Yes.
Let's do it in Zanzibar, Tabora, Dodoma, and let's see what are the results of our projects.
Ladies and gentlemen, my esteemed viewers, this was the Monday agenda, where we had on the program wonderful organization who are going to implement projects on gender as well as agriculture, but specifically on agroecological agriculture, as beneficiaries of 1.7 billion shillings from the French Embassy. I'm looking at it as a seed to the country through them. And I believe, as Janet once said, that, you know, from the conference that was held online, many people have shown interest on the issues of climate change. So I believe the good work that these organizations will do will translate more and more support coming towards, you know, addressing the issues of ecological agriculture, the issues of gender-based violence, etc., and much more to come. So we really wish them, I wish them, on behalf of you, my viewers, all the very best in your implementation, because we want to see these very positive changes that we all envisage and making Tanzania a beautiful, habitable place. With this, I would really once again say thank you so much for coming to the Monday agenda. See you all again together in a year. In the field. And thank you for watching. I'm your host, Makani. Until next time, stay tuned to the Capital TV.